to preserve the documents. And here,
so was, by the way, the IRS in our lawsuit. They were under an obligation to
absolutely,
have them also.
absolutely. And we're going to put the White House itself on notice that they're going to have to preserve those documents. And this is how important it is for them to preserve, because if they don't, there is a distinct possibility that many of our allegations will be considered admitted, where they could be found legally liable for violating the law because they did this.
Yeah, here's my sinister thought, though.
Okay.
They would rather have the presumption of the allegation being deemed true rather than producing the document, which is more incriminating to themselves.
I think you're right about that.
And that's what I'm afraid is going on here. Folks, there's no conspiracy theory. I think that the emails are so damaging. They would rather have our lawsuit, the allegations deemed admitted, but not have the actual email put forward. Jordan, I think it's that serious.
Yeah, well, I think you're right, and I think that even a conspiracy theorist would be laughed out of a room of fellow conspiracy theorists for thinking that this would be announced by the IRS. I mean, it was already conspiratorial to think that our government, an agency like the IRS, would target people because they were conservatives, and the media didn't want to believe that. People didn't want to believe it until the IRS admitted it themselves. And then it was, who else was involved? Is it the White House? And now the emails go missing. This is the classic Washington scandal, where there's a period of time where all communication's deleted.
It is, folks, unreal. And it's that period of time which is the most formative. Again, we want a special prosecutor. We need your help to get it there. ACLJ.org or 1-877-989-2255. Sign on to that petition now. ACLJ.org or 1-877-989-2255. Let's go back to the phones.
Yep, let's go to Robert, New Jersey, on line 2. Robert, welcome to Aclj Live. You're on the air.
Hi, Robert.
This reminds me of when Rosemary Woods accidentally erased 18 minutes of Nixon's tape.
Yep.
And I'll hang up and listen to this.
Well, I mean, in a sense, it's worse, because there's litigation pending against the IRS while this is all going on, David. It's worse than that, and that was bad.
Yeah.
But you know what they did there? Here, they're making an argument that they're not available when we know they are. Yeah. So it's not like you can't get the 18 minutes back. But one thing we do know, those emails exist. So this idea that it's like the Nixon tape, it's much worse than the Nixon tape.
Oh, absolutely. It was actually possible to erase one tape. Here, you could light your computer on fire and your emails will still exist. It's absurd.
All right, folks, when we go to the breaks, will you go to your phones and go to aclj.org and sign that petition out for us? We've got to get a special prosecutor here. We got no choice. 1-877-989-2255. That's aclj.org or 877-989-2255 to sign on to that petition. By the way, continue to like us on Facebook. We're approaching a million on mine and almost 730,000 on the ACLJ. So like us on Facebook. But again, sign that petition, aclj.org or 1-877-989-2255. Back with more in a moment.
The American Center for Law and Justice is on the front lines, holding the Internal Revenue Service accountable for a targeting scheme aimed at conservative and Tea Party groups. The ACLJ represents 41 organizations in 22 states in the largest lawsuit against the IRS on behalf of targeted Americans. Now it is time for the story to be told. The ACLJ has put together a short movie telling the story and explaining the high stakes of our fight against IRS abuse. ACLJ Chief Counsel Jay Sekulow sat down with Senators Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, Dr. Ben Carson, and many national leaders to tell this critical story. You can watch this movie free of charge. Go online to download this powerful new film, Tax Invasion, at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Yep, and you can also dial the prayer line at 1-800, the number 4 in the word prayer, or 1-225-768-7000, the prayer line. That's 1-225-768-7000. Because that's really what we need to do, is repent all across this land. This corruption, this covetousness spirit has infiltrated America. And our leadership is not doing so well at leading the people into righteousness, or leading them into more covetousness and stuff. They need to repent. 1-225-768-7000.